Welcome back to Survivor. We're not Survivor, the Purple Rock Podcast Summer Rewatch. You know what? I bet when they cut this for the audio, Andy could just clip this beginning part out.
But he won't.
Probably not. But Matt told me that we were live when we were not, so a bit of a stumble. But we're here for the Purple Rock Podcast Summer Rewatch of Survivor Philippines, also known as Blackjack and Hookers 2, The Squeakquel. I'm your host, Emma, here with your other host, Matt.
It's great to be back this week, and I'm sorry about the mix-up there. I'm not the Hollywood type. That would be you.
Yeah, but I went to school for writing, so like this whole film, the actually film part is not really my jam. But more importantly, we're here to cover episodes 4 through 6. So, you know, of course, to start, we enter with Met Singh looking just down in the dumps. They are not having a great time.
You know, maybe if they won ever, they wouldn't be so depressed. But that doesn't seem to be in the cards for them.
It's also tough, I think, because this is the 3-tribe format. They never even have a reward challenge to like lift their spirits or get momentum in any way. So it's just like they lost far fewer challenges than Oolong did, for example.
Right, but Oolong had a lot more chances to lose.
Yeah, this is true. And so they start, and it's raining, it's miserable, they're all unhappy, they're all dejected.
Plus they spent 9 days. Plus they spent 9 days now with Russell Swan, which would test the bravest of souls.
Yeah, I believe Malcolm says he has achieved all of his lowest expectations.
He was what he thought he was, which is which I don't know who's going to get that one, but some of you out there will. More sports references. Okay.
But and so they head off to a challenge.
Yeah,
the challenge. They're so close.
So close. Yet again, and this time they actually have a lead. This time they go into the final part, and they're not trying to come from behind. They're not, trailing or anything like that. They actually have a lead. And
Jeff helpfully points out that, for the first time in the entire game, Matt Singh is ahead.
Right?
In a challenge.
They were doing well. It was like maybe this time they can pull it out. But in the end, Malcolm loses the breaking the vase thing to Jeff Kent.
Mm-hmm. After already losing it to, was it Artis who was doing it for Tandang?
Yeah, Artis was really good for Tandang. He got through those really quick.
Yeah, great at aiming, I guess. What did he?
It seems like one of those weird lawn games that Survivor likes to do for its challenges. I don't know. Some people, I guess, are just really good at those.
But I think the best moment in the challenge during the actual challenge itself, because we will get to the immediate aftermath of the challenge. Right. But that final shot of, when Jeff Kent is so brutal because it's Jeff Kent throws his last one and Malcolm throws his last one and they both miss the first way back. And then Jeff Kent comes back from the other side and crash.
Yeah. Right, and it sent it kind of wobbling, but you could tell it wasn't going to fall on the way past, and on the way back, it just smashed it.
And then everything fell, including Russell Swan's hopes and dreams.
Yeah. And then we get to what was probably my favorite part of the challenge. Russell Swan after the challenge, when he just kind of indulges his inner Russell Swan and he really lets go and he starts yelling and saying, "Why do you test me, Lord?" It's all that stuff. Yeah. And then Probst decides to intervene. And he asks Russell, I don't even remember what he asked Russell. And then Russell goes, what exactly did he say? But
he's like, "Oh, well, Lord, I mean, Jeff."
Yeah, I mean, that was it. He just was he got confused there for a second at which voice was talking to him.
Yeah. And then it's you see the other tribes chuckling at that. In my head, I think this is probably partially because of, I was going to say the funny 115, but they hadn't, unless I don't think that's been covered at that point yet. There's something where they sort of discuss, I feel like, that moment. I don't know, maybe it was Arhab or something. But like in my head, it's much more dramatic. Like it was like he was still like sort of screaming. It was like, oh Lord, I mean Jeff. But in the moment, it's like it's much more casual, which is almost weirder because it's just like conversationally like, yeah, Lord, I don't know what's happening.
I think what it suggests is that Russell got very used to talking to God while he was on that beach. And just like didn't distinguish between an actual person asking him a question and like the voice in his head asking him a question.
Yeah, I still can't get over the like God built me in His own image, so I should be able to achieve everything. Because who built the rest of them? Who built Tantei?
I mean, maybe really what he's saying is that those are crappy images, whereas he's like, like a primo image. No photocopying there.
Maybe, but I mean, say what you will about RC as a person, but I feel like that was she's a pretty good image. But that's why I get to hang out in the Bro Talk.
That's right. Emily, second biggest bro. No.
I just keep climbing those ranks. Then, we go back to Matt Singh, and they've got to figure out who to vote out of the 3 people.
Right. So, look, 2 people are going to vote for each other. 1 person's not going to get a vote. I think it's pretty remarkable that Denise, who, as Malcolm jokes, is a short woman who he has a foot on, never.
Vertically.
Right. Yeah. Vertically. Well, we assume that's what he meant. We don't know.
Those are the words he said.
That's true. But her name never comes up, and this is where we're going to start our episode-long refrain that will continue throughout the entire rewatch, which is that Denise is so good at this game.
She's so good.
She's so good.
I will say, never came up, but that almost makes it more incredible. Is at the start, almost the first thing is Russell is talking to Malcolm in the water, and so they sort of do the obvious thing of where there's only 3 of them, so whichever 2 are together are going to be like, oh, it's the other one, right?
Right. Yeah, of course.
But you kind of feel like Russell is totally voting for Denise, and it seems like it really is hinging on Malcolm, whether he, sticks to his alliance that he has and, votes out the person he also doesn't like, or if he really thinks that they're going to have to do a challenge of 2 people, and he thinks that being with Russell is how they're going to achieve that. And then Russell votes for Malcolm.
Yep.
And I forgot that happened. And that's amazing. And Denise going full on therapist again.
Oh, yeah.
Somehow, they talk for 5 minutes, and I mean, that we see on the show, and somehow she's got Russell confiding all these deep traumas from his childhood. And then she's like, yeah, Malcolm's a threat, and that's definitely something we're already worried about. So
yeah, no, I mean, it's, if we were watching this in real time, and I think if you go back to our AV Club comments, you probably start picking up on that there. But this is the Denise Winners episode.
Literally at Tribal Council. I mean, we are obviously surprise twist. We're not Edgic people, but I wonder, they had to have known, right? Because they must have. I feel like they're little. I know it's all garbage or whatever. I know how you feel about Edgic, but when Russell says if she gets in front of a jury when they're at day 16 or whatever, and he's like, if
they're at day 10, they're at day 10,
and it's like if she gets in front of a jury, she will definitely win, and they'll be like, oh yeah, and here's also some money from my own personal bank account. If they're saying all of that amazing stuff about Denise already. That's a pretty good sign.
Right. Well, no, I mean, and this is actually what I remember from watching it live, which is that we kept referring back to that moment when talking about who we thought was going to win the season as we were watching the season, because that's not like an Edgic thing. That's not like a musical cue in a weird place. That's not a confessional in a weird place. These are people on the show telling you exactly how they feel, and the show leaves it in there for a reason. And the reason why is because Denise is going to win. And like this entire episode.
And the reason why Denise wins is because she's amazing and everybody likes her.
Right. Well, right. But again, like.
Who still votes for her?
Well, and the reason why people like her is really illustrated well in that conversation she has with Russell, where all basically happens is she just like talks to Russell like he's a person. And, and she gets him to open up and she gets him to confide in him. And there's like this trust built. And all of a sudden it's like, of course he's not going to vote for her. Just like anyone on the jury is going to be like, oh, of course I like Denise the best of these people. Just talk to her for a minute.
And especially, I mean, considering how Russell has been portrayed before, that like the fact that he wouldn't keep this like golden boy type around, And it doesn't seem to be that it's like threatening his leadership role or anything like that. It's just, that was Denise's idea, so that's what he's gonna do.
Right? Yeah. No, it was just like Denise talked him into that, and he was like, "You're right. That is what I should do." I mean, it wasn't even a second guess. I don't think Malcolm did anything to drive it.
Right, and poor Malcolm probably figured like because what he had seen before, and like Russell. Well, at least if something happens, if Russell's not like Russell, definitely will vote for Denise. So I'll be fine. So when that vote comes up, I mean, and that's the thing too, because Denise noticed Russell trying to look for the idol, and so she's worried he has the idol. So it's not just about like, oh no, maybe Malcolm will turn on me, because I feel like she does trust Malcolm. They have real trust in each other. And it's like, oh no, maybe Malcolm will turn on me, so I better make sure everyone votes for a different person, which would have been kind of amazing. Sidebar, because there's only 3 people. But she also makes sure that if Russell does play the idol, she's still there.
Right, exactly. Right. I mean, it's kind of a Sandra move, it's like that little type of move where you pretty much know where everything's going, but you do just a little bit extra to make sure it's not going to blow back on you if anything unusual happens. Like think about the way that like Sandra in this past season just would get the secondary target off her, so that if there was an idol, it wasn't blowing back on her. And that's kind of what Denise does. She makes sure that, she trusts Malcolm to vote with her, but if he doesn't, or if Russell plays an idol, that vote goes elsewhere.
Yeah. Russell goes home.
Yep. Thank God. I mean, it was, it was overdue.
I mean, what if he had the idol? Like, that would have been terrible. Because he'd still be there, Malcolm would be gone. We'd have no idea. I mean, they would conceivably still bring back Malcolm just because the whole Matt Singh situation.
Right.
But it's definitely less likely. He'd probably be like a second chancer instead of a fan favorite or something.
Yeah, that's probably true. Yeah, no, I mean, we really dodged a bullet with, Matt Singh gets decimated down to 2 people. And we managed to keep by far the 2 best people on that tribe.
Yeah, the 2 best people on this season.
Yeah,
even.
No, absolutely.
It's incredible. Like, that's so lucky. They're both great. And Denise is just amazing. Oh, but we should also mention briefly how funny it is when Russell's looking for the idol. And it's like, I'm sure it's just flashing in front of me.
Yeah, right. And it was like just the camera kept focus on the box.
Yeah.
And I do like how then the next episode begins with Malcolm and Denise, searching for the idol together, and they're looking all around and they're reasoning it out, and they're like, the rice box, and then Malcolm's like, hey, give me that machete. Pop.
Like, yes, that's it. Because they rightly assume like, well, he didn't play it, like clearly he doesn't have it.
Right.
Or if he did, they would have re-hit it in, so it's fine anyway.
Well, I mean, come on now. If he had the idol and he didn't play it, he would just be the stupidest player alive.
So dumb. Yeah, that would have been. I mean, we've seen some bad not playing idol situations.
But when you're at 3,
Yeah, I feel like you gotta take that chance.
I feel like you gotta. So,
so they go and they, so Malcolm finds the idol. Then they're called to the challenge, and Matt Singh is no more.
Yay! I love how Malcolm spits on the buff. That is a great moment. And again, that kind of illustrates why we like Malcolm. He plays the camera in a very specific way. He did that for the camera. He did that as kind of a show, but it's funny. It's he spits on the buff. That's great.
Yeah. It's it was a terrible tribe. They hated being there.
Right.
It's fun. And they do kind of both end up going to the tribes that I think work best for them, even though, challenge-wise, it's still not even. But I think, in terms of both of their social games, I think they went to good spots.
Yeah, I think that's probably true. I honestly think that Malcolm would have been fine on either tribe. I feel
like Denise probably would have been okay too, just because they had so much turmoil.
I do think that Denise might have had a bit more trouble on Tandang than she did on Calabao, just because of the people that were in control on Tandang. One of the things we see Jeff Kent say in the I guess episode 4, he's oh, these kids, they can't have a professional conversation, which okay,
not they do in the clubhouse.
Right, yeah, okay. Before I finish my point there, what the hell does that even mean, Jeff Kent? What the hell is a professional conversation?
He misses his days talking to Rich Aurelia in the dugout, I guess.
Barry Bonds could really carry off small talk like you wouldn't believe. Right, I'm sure.
I would watch so many hours of Barry Bonds and Jeff Kent trying to have a civil conversation together.
Yeah, it's if you just restart it every time it descends, you just be restarting it constantly.
They have to be the weather. How's the weather? It's foggy, isn't it?
It's stop talking about the goddamn fog. Damn it, we gotta start over again. Yeah. But anyway, my point with that was that Jeff was talking about how the kids can't have a civil conversation, and Jeff Kent is the one that's kind of running the show on Calabao. Denise is the exact type of person he's talking about with those type of conversations. Denise is the quintessential can hold the conversation with anyone. Whereas if she goes to Tandang, suddenly she has to work her way in with Pete and Abby and Artis, and that's a lot dicier in my opinion.
I think Abby, we know that Abby gets under her skin. But I feel like Pete hates Scoopin and RC so much that
right. And that would be how I think Denise would avoid it, which would be they would target Scoopin and RC first.
I feel like she would probably, end up talking to Lisa. And I think it's not unreasonable that she'd get a lot. Artis is cranky, but he's still older, and maybe her therapy can calm him down.
I don't think anything can calm that man down. That is the angriest man alive.
Food, probably.
Food. Yeah, Artis is
just a little hangry.
Yeah, he's more than a little hangry. He's
very hangry. Yeah, he's very hangry.
Yeah, that does kind of lead us into talking about Tandang and what they're which is that what we saw in episode 4, the little bit we saw of them was Pete kind of explodes the Abby RC situation into the point of no return. He plants the clue. It falls out in the shelter. And that's it, for Abby and RC.
Yeah, and as irrational as Abby can seem, this is a situation where, I think she overreacts to it probably, but in terms of being RC being but I didn't do anything, it makes sense for Abby not to believe her because it was in her,
right.
She has no reason to think that Pete would have done that or anything. But she also says, she's oh, but we buried it together, and so she betrayed me. I'm well, how'd Pete get it? Abby, how'd you?
Yeah, I don't
How'd
know.
that happen?
Yeah, obviously
Like,
Abby showed him where it was buried.
exactly. And is that not too a betrayal?
No, no. You see, it only counts as a betrayal if someone betrays Abby. Abby can't betray anyone else. That's how this works.
Yes.
That's how this works. But yeah, no, I mean, and that kind of then leads to the Tandang reshuffling that really kind of culminates when Malcolm comes over, which is that once that explodes, RC's on the outs and Scoopin follows her on the outs, and we'll kind of talk about why in a bit. And then Lisa and Artis are then on the ins, and then when Malcolm comes over, Pete immediately falls in love.
Oh, you're 24, me too, bro. Sick.
Right, yeah, it's like, hey, did you know that me and Abby found the idol? Isn't that awesome, man? Like, don't you like me more now?
I was like, yeah, yes, wow, that's great.
That's great. I mean,
Good
like,
job, buddy.
and he said it within like 5 seconds. It was so. I mean, it was like he like meets the guy and he's like, "Oh man, you're awesome. Hey, you know I have an idol? Yeah, right."
He's like, "That's fine. You're strong, so now I'm fine getting rid of Mike." He says as if he's ever going to lose a challenge, and
right,
like, this is great. Now I'm not worried about strength because clearly that was something we needed to be worried about.
I mean, it's just
like honestly, even if they didn't have strength, it's like at this point they should think that Emerge is like not too far away. Like they were only going to be losing a couple people at that point.
Yeah, it's probably true.
And that actually brings me to something I had made note of. Isn't it kind of amazing that during this whole time and how much division there is, that Tandang never threw a challenge?
You know, I kind of wonder if it just like never even occurred to them. Like, I mean, because if you think about like some of the people on Tandang, okay, like so who would be the one on Tandang to throw a challenge? Like Pete? Like I think Pete's the only person that would do that. And a lot of these challenges require like two people. Like at certain
he'd have to convince the tribe somehow that like, you know what, Abby deserves to participate in the challenge.
Right. Let's put Abby on the puzzle or like on like
or the running. Like,
yeah.
Her issue that she like tore her ACL, but they just never said it on the show or something.
That's what she says.
Yeah. Like
I mean
she claimed.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, you know, I don't trust a lot of what Abby says.
I can't imagine why.
You know, it's a fair point. I guess I'm just one of those naturally suspicious people. Suspicious of other people.
Did you just?
I'm not suspicious.
Like,
I'm
right. Because I was like, I feel like you just like anti-Semitized yourself.
Whoa! No, you just brought yours. What the hell, Emma? Where the hell is that coming from?
From you.
No, I said suspicious, and then you made it about me being Jewish. What the fuck?
I'm just saying, I don't think that. But
I think you do.
Like,
I think you do.
I just naturally have a bad characteristic.
I think we should move on before you dig your grave even deeper.
I will say, I thought you meant like suspicious, like you're shady, rather than like I'm suspicious of other people.
I know what you meant.
I'm not saying it's an actual stereotype. I'm saying other people say.
Oh, you're just saying that's your personal stereotype?
No. I meant like not actual, like a true stereotype. Not that there are true stereotypes.
Yeah, I really think you should have taken my suggestion to move on and ran with it earlier.
Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't mean anything. I was just trying, because there have been times where you did make a joke like about yourself, and Andy and I did not get it. And like we didn't even think of it in that way. So I thought you were doing something like that.
Well, apology accepted on behalf of all Jewish people everywhere.
Because you represent them all, right?
Oh, yeah.
That's how that works.
Just like you represent all women, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So we're good then. Wow, that really went off the rails there. Let's get back on the topic of Survivor.
Well, let's probably not talk about RC then.
Okay, then let's talk about why everyone hates Scoopin'.
It's not for the reason you think.
Yeah, don't look up why you should now hate Scoopin'. Let's talk about why the people in season hated Scoopin'. So we get a couple examples. The main one seems to be he's eating them out of all their rice.
Yeah, and I don't know. I think that's maybe also a problem that Tandang just wasn't losing, and on all tribes, like I wonder how much rice Mat Singh had. You know.
Well, it kind of sounds like by that trade they didn't have that much because,
Yeah,
right?
like
So we have.
rice
Oh,
either.
right. Sorry, you said Mat Singh. I was thinking Calabao. But yeah, like because we see that reward challenge where it never ends, and they make the deal rather than play it out. Which, I mean, that's a deal that everyone's unhappy with except for Mike Skupin and Jonathan Penner, and everyone else hates them for it.
It really makes me wonder, like, what was the move there? What should have, like, if everyone on both sides is unhappy, was there anything they could have done?
Yeah, I don't know, because the fact of the matter is, like, I don't think that first point ever would have ended. Now, maybe later points would have ended, but that seemed like the type of challenge where you need to score kind of quick. And, like, they had just been there for, like, an hour, just, like, laying on top of each other and not moving that thing at all. And maybe if they had put like Malcolm in there or Artis in there, they would have had a better shot. But like, as it was, that point was not moving.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't even like, oh, they get close and they were just stuck. They were just standing there.
Yeah.
Eventually.
Right. Yeah. And so, I mean, like, I think the deal makes sense, but it feels like a loss for both sides because, for the Tandang side, they had never, it's like they hadn't, lost. Well, okay. So I guess they had come in second a few times, but they still like hadn't gone to tribal. They'd gotten some sort of reward.
Right, they were this was the first only reward challenge too, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Or wait, or was there one when Denise and Malcolm first? Either way, I guess it doesn't matter. So
you're right. There was one when Denise and Malcolm first swapped, and Tandang won that.
Right. So I guess this is their first true loss.
Right, quote unquote.
And even then, it's like, Abby's like, this is worse than it's giving up. It's like it's not really giving up because it was a negotiation.
Right.
They didn't forfeit really, like.
Well, and it was so funny how, like, all the people that complained the most about it, like, were asked, like, hey, do you want to do this? And they're like, whatever, do what you want to do. Like, I don't care. And then, like, the second it actually is done, they're like, how could they do that? This was the worst negotiation ever. If I was there, I wouldn't have done that. And you're like, you were there, dude. What were you doing?
Yeah, it was sort of one thing. It was like a little understandable, I feel like, coming from Artis because he was sort of on the sidelines and I feel like was the last to sort of give in. But like when Pete is bitching about it, I'm like, Pete was literally like in the mud at that time. Like he could have easily been like, no, let's play it out. Let's do this.
Yeah. So, I mean, the entire thing just kind of seems like a weird overreaction by everyone. And I think it's from Tan, I mean, like, especially, but Tandang's the one who definitely overreacts the most. And so I think this kind of goes back to why they all turn on Skupin, which is that they haven't lost. That tribe is going nuts because all they've been around are the same people the entire time. And so, like, the little things are starting to really piss them off. And so, like, when a little thing that Skupin does manifests itself in a big way, like him eating the rice, raw because it'll cook in his belly, which, did we ever, like, find out if that's actually, like, true, or is that just something he made up?
I did not research it, but I also found that way because it was like, okay, but, like, he would probably still be eating it anyway. Unless he's just eating a lot more, in which case I don't think it matters if it's
eating a lot more.
Sure.
Right. I think the point is that he's eating a lot more.
Like have that be the issue then. I don't know.
Right. Well, I mean, the other thing is that, like, it's been raining so much that, like, you probably can't get away from them because you're all in the shelter. You have less fire than you usually have because it keeps going out because of the rain. Like, it's shitty conditions. And it's and that's just like everyone's getting really annoyed and they have to take it out on someone. And I mean, Skupin's the guy because he's annoying.
Yep. Yeah. They're not happy with him and they are never going to be able to get to deal with it.
Nope, never. Because guess what? They don't lose either of these 2 episodes.
Yeah. And even beyond that, but
yeah.
Yeah, so it's like it seems, that now that Matt Singh's gone, that Calabas is just the problem tribe. And they go in before Denise goes, Jeff Kent kind of because Penner is someone he could actually hold a conversation with, decides like, oh, maybe he's not so bad. And like instead of it being like all the newbies versus the returning players, all the newbies versus the one returning player, maybe we'll have a guy versus girls thing, even though it's a 3-3 split and none of them make any
neither side tries to lure plus one of the other side over. It's kind of funny how that works.
No, yeah. And I wonder, maybe Carter was just like really attached to Jeff Kent, because it feels like you could do the age thing. Like the girls could try to lure Carter over in the sense of like, oh, we can all hang out and get along and like stuff. And like, look, right. Dana looks like you. That's fun.
Right. Dana just looks like a short version of you. Isn't that appealing at all?
Yeah. Don't you want a little buddy?
Right.
Probably older than you.
Right. Carter actually, as much as we make fun of him, he does make a good observation. Shocking, I know. But he's the one that's like, hey, if we ally ourselves with Penner, then he'll draw the target when we go to the merge.
Yeah.
And it's like...
Carter invented the meat shield strategy. Who knew?
Yeah, right? Bow down before Carter, Jeremy Collins.
Although I guess he's more of a strategy shield, brain shield.
Than he's a noticeability shield, visibility shield. I don't know. The point is that, it's the type of thing where your attention's not on Carter when there's a returning player around. And I think that was accurate. I think that, we'll talk about what happens after the merge next week, but I think Carter's right.
Yeah, I think that was accurate. And then so they're at this standoff, Calabas, this 3-3 thing. They haven't gone to travel yet either. And then they get Denise. So Katie's stoked. She's like, okay, we've got
4 women. Right.
And she's not, to her credit, she's not saying like, yes, this is automatically for us, but she's like, it's probably it'll be a little easier to lure Denise, try to team up with Denise than if it would have been to try to team up with Malcolm. And who knows if they would have been able to, but then Dana
because we don't get any indication one way or the other which way Denise was leaning before Dana gets sick.
Mm-hmm. And it makes sense because they weren't having to vote yet or anything. There was no reason to lure her. But then Dana gets sick.
I also imagine that probably there was a chance that it was still going to be Denise with its 7.
That's true. They might have just done the easy get rid of thing. So I'm sorry that happened to you, Dana, but thank you.
Correctamundo. So Dana gets sick, and it's not technically a medevac, but let's be honest, this one's it's pretty bad.
And even though Probst is very clearly being like, well, we can't actually pull you, we're not forcing you to leave the game. He's also, I think, being pretty understanding. Yeah. I think it's probably just the language of the show, because they couldn't have someone say you made me leave, but it wasn't actually life threatening or whatever.
I think that's probably exactly it. Yeah. I think they just wanted to avoid that.
Yeah, so he's like, I know you're super uncomfortable. I know this is terrible. You can stay if you want, but we totally get if you don't want to.
Yeah,
instead of compared to some of the actual quits or Austin allegedly having a bunch of staph infections, but who knows if Jeff Probst even knew that.
Right. I mean, and it is kind of a loss for pretty big loss for Calabas, because that happens after the reward and before the immunity challenge. And I think Dana was one of their tougher, was the most athletic girl they had on the tribe pre Denise. I think Denise might be, because Denise is, as Malcolm says, Denise is an ox. He meant that in a complimentary fashion. But yeah.
No, Denise is very, she's strong, she's small, but she's like wiry strength or
Yeah,
something.
exactly. Mom strength? Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mom
Okay.
strength.
Right.
And
because then without Dana, they then go to the challenge, which allows Tandang to sit Abby, which Jeff immediately makes a comment about.
It's like, well, if you've
then,
got a problem with that, you shouldn't have made those rules.
And then they lose, they lose by seconds. Like, it's really close in that challenge.
They're so close. And, I mean, Probst just is, it makes me wonder, like, did Probst, was it because he preferred Denise and was worried about her? Did he prefer Dawson in casting? But it was very clear to highlight how terribly Katie was doing.
Yep. He was really laying into her.
I always comments on challenges, but I feel like, I mean, that was just like really, even when that part was over, it's like, oh, Cowbell is struggling to come up after losing so much time because of Katie.
Yeah, no, exactly. He was just really rubbing that in. But they do lose and they go to Tribal. And with Dana gone, it seems pretty clear that it's going to be Katie or Dawson.
Yeah, because Denise has wormed her way in with the guys, I think largely because there's three of them, there's two of them, and because Penner and Kent are older, so that's someone, so she can, and Carter, you don't even notice it, you just stick them in a corner, it's fine.
Right, exactly. I mean, it's like you turn around and you're like, oh God, Carter was there the entire time.
Yeah. So that makes sense, I think, of people for her to line with. Plus, Dawson's crazy.
Yeah, which starts to really come out in this episode. And so let's talk about why Jeff Kent prefers to eliminate Dawson. Because this is actually pretty damn funny.
Yeah. So I'm not sure if we addressed this originally, but in the premiere, Dawson is the only one to recognize Jeff Kent. She knows who he is because of a past boyfriend, I believe.
Right.
And so she decides that, I guess she thinks she's been I don't know why she thinks this is, a move, but she decides to kind of troll him, basically. And it's like, oh, maybe I should date an athlete. Like, I don't know.
Like, well, football player would obviously be the best choice. And then basketball. Yeah. I guess baseball, but
I guess
definitely
maybe
after the other ones. What I love about that is, well, one, I love any type of trolling. But two, I love Jeff Kent's expression as he's listening to that. That, like, smile where he's kind of laughing and kind of like, I know what you're doing. I can't acknowledge I know what you're doing. But it's pretty funny what you're doing.
Because he picks up that it's trolling. It's not like he's offended about baseball. So he's just like, covering it, like trying not to just crack up because they're sitting on opposite ends of the shelter.
I really would have loved to get like someone else on that tribe's reaction to that. Because it would probably been like, what the hell is she even talking about?
Right. Because as presented in the episode, and like, God, I hope it's how it's presented in the episode, they're just lying in the shelter, and then out of nowhere, like, complete non sequitur, Dawson's like, I think I'm going to date an athlete next.
Yeah.
Imagine, even not on Survivor, if like out of nowhere a friend just says that, like, it's confusing. It's weird. And then there's also like when Dana is being sort of quasi-medevaced, Dawson has a confessional where it's like, yeah, Jeff Probst is in the camp, and like normally I would like jump him, but it's not even like, but I'm not in the mood, the mood is somber because Dana, he's just like, oh, it's just bad timing.
Right. Yeah, like,
as if there's it's not really bad timing, Dawson. That's just the only reason he would be there.
Right. Yeah. I do have to wonder, like, what, I mean, so this whole, like, Jeff Probst crush that she has, because, like, let's talk about that. So she gets booted and she goes up and she kisses Jeff on her way out, right?
Yeah. And, like, stares him down beforehand.
Right. Well, the same stare she gave Jeff Kent when when she knew that he was a baseball player and he was making up some other profession. she has this like really weird, intense stare. But she stares him down, kisses him, and I like how
on
everyone
the cheek, but he dodges it.
Yeah, he dodges. But I like how everyone else also kind of was like, something's going to happen here, and this is really weird.
Yeah, because that's why is she? Because she's standing, with her torch and staring him down, and then which will only show up if I keep talking, just staring him intently down, and it's Katie and Penner a little bit are like, why is she still there? Why hasn't she left yet? What's good? Oh, okay. That's different.
Yeah. So I guess these are my two questions. One, do you think she told anyone on the tribe that hey, if I get voted out, I'm going to kiss Jeff Probst? Because I kind of wonder if that's what they were waiting to happen. They were like, you think she's going to do it? Think she's going to do it? Think she's going to do it? Oh! And two, do you think she mentioned her giant crush on him when she got cast? Because that seems to be the entirety of her personality this season, right?
It's all Jeff based.
Right. It's all
Jeff Kent is. Crush on Jeff Probst.
It's a good point. It's all Jeff based for
her. The first thing about the tribe knowing, maybe honestly, that never occurred to me. That's a really interesting point. I never thought about that. I think it's definitely possible she told other people in casting that she had a crush on Probst and that Probst knew. I don't know. We don't know enough about Dawson's personality to know if she was bold enough to say that. I'm going to go with yes based on the fact that she tries to kiss him on the way out.
I would agree. I mean, but maybe everyone was kind of like, oh, haha, that's funny. It's you have a good sense of humor. Whereas she's like, no, I'm deadly serious. I've been wanting since I was a teenager. I had such a big crush on Jeff Probst. So it seems like it was a schoolgirl crush when she was younger. Right.
Rather than something that's been maintained as time goes on.
Yeah.
Forever.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's just a really weird kind of funny incident in the in the episode.
It's so good.
It's good. It's good. And then, so then Kalabat loses again because Denise has to go to every tribal council this season.
And it's not she's the new person on a tribe and barely comes up as an option to vote out. If at all. It's Katie. It's maybe the other girl are we're going to assume that that's who they're going for or something.
I think Katie votes for her, and that's the first vote she gets in the game so far.
Yeah. And then by the next tribal council, it ends up being between Katie and Penner.
Well, but I don't think Katie votes for Penner, does she? Oh, no, she does vote for Penner.
Katie votes for Penner.
You're right, she does.
And it was, Denise is meant as the decoy to the decoy vote.
That's what it is.
She was only the decoy
She's
vote
the deep
in
decoy.
The mind of the other decoy vote. Penner thinks the decoy vote is Denise because the real decoy vote is Penner, who they're deciding between.
Yeah.
But nobody votes for her.
No, yeah. But no. Dawson's the one who votes for Denise at the previous tribal council. But that's the only, and that's the first time Denise had gotten a vote up to this point. And again, it was an entire decoy vote. Katie's not even with Dawson at this point.
Yeah, and then and then should we just talk about the Katie vote?
Sure. Yeah. So again, that it seems that the decision now is no longer Denise. It's a question of for Jeff Kent and Carter whether they turn on Penner or whether they vote out Katie.
It's whether they value more the if they trust Penner more than they think that Katie's bad at challenge, or trust him less than they think Katie's bad at challenges.
Right, because they don't know that a merge is coming up and that this is the last vote before the merge. They don't know that. Mm-hmm. And I think I think they do actually have some points about, voting Penner out, because I think if they had kept Katie, she probably would be more loyal to them. The problem was that they were down numbers anyway.
Yeah.
So, like, you know, Penner had an idol.
Mm-hmm.
Penner had an idol, and he would draw attention away from them. And, you know, like, that could really have played out well for them if they wanted to use it. Which, you know, we'll talk about what they do next week. But, like, there are pretty good reasons to keep Penner. And as much as you don't trust him, you also probably are not thinking, oh, well, he's going to go to the other side.
Right. It's like he's probably going to stick with you. And in a way, when you're down numbers, it's almost somehow better to like you should be strong, but like, it's like, oh, if someone is sort of shifty, you can almost use that to then try to work with other people, like break apart the other lines. You already know Denise knows Malcolm, like, you know, maybe she could pull him over and various stuff like that. Like, when a tribe has never gone to tribal council, someone's going to be on the outs.
Right. Which, you know, I mean, yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, and it's obvious watching these episodes that Tandang is, you know, a pot ready to explode. Just, you know, I mean, they're all over the place. Like they're getting very close to the point where they just hate each other. Well, no, they do hate some of each other.
Yes.
But yeah, no, I mean, like there are, you know, real divisions to work with. And, you know, yeah, I mean, so they could I kind of feel like they could have used either one of them in that spot. But you know, it kind of makes sense not to take the chance that they would vote out Penner and he'd play his idol.
Right. And yeah, and then sorry, I'm totally lost my train of thought. Is it already time for a Carter moment of the week?
Oh, there is one thing I want to mention before that, which is there was another funny moment of Jeff Kent being trolled, this time at the Katy Tribal Council, which is this time Probst asked Jeff Kent, Jeff, have you played any game that is similar to Survivor in terms of strategy?
Yeah, and he's like, no.
I do love how, like, you know, like Probst like picks up the Dawson trolling torch right there and just decides to keep going with it. You know.
Yeah, although it's weird because, like, in what way?
Yeah, right. Because it's like, you know, you could see how like Probst is like, well, baseball's not strategic, which baseball's pretty damn strategic, bro. But
yeah, but I would definitely say they're very different in that, you know, like I still think it's a weird thing because it's like, yeah, baseball is not strategic in the way Survivor is strategic.
Right. Yeah. No, it's definitely different. You know, it's the type of thing it's the type of question you'd almost ask at like a reunion where like he has like someone famous on and it's like, oh, and like it wasn't Survivor the hardest thing you've ever done, and then that person would be like, you're damn right it was, Jeff, and I've done all these other things, you know? But like he asked it in game, which made it weird.
Where he's not going to say it anyway, and it's just
right. You know, and it's just kind of funny because you see Jeff Kent having to yet again bite his tongue about who he is, which I love.
There's a slight hint, I feel like, when he's saying, you know, how, oh, no, this game sucks. And he's like, oh, does it suck? And like, he's like, does it suck because you want to go home? And he's sort of like talking about the ways Survivor sucks. And eventually he's like, you know what I mean.
Yeah, right, exactly. It's like you can't even, because Probst was giving him a hard time.
Comparing it to baseball.
Right, yeah, no, because Probst is giving him a hard time, and Jeff Kent can't be like, look, I want to compare it to my career as a Major League Baseball player, and I can't, so you know what I mean, okay? Okay.
Yeah.
Like, it's, you know, I mean, yeah, I think one of my favorite things about Jeff Kent this season is how, like, him keeping the secret, like, his entire kind of, like, laughter at himself about him keeping his own secret. Because because he knows it's ridiculous. He knows it's kind of silly. But yet he has to, you know, like, but all the moments when it could come up and he has to bite his tongue, he's kind of laughing to himself. And I think that's what kind of makes him, like, kind of fun to watch in these moments. Like, it's not like someone who just, like, flatly denies or makes up a lie. He just is, like, he's just biting his tongue.
Yeah, because he's sort of, like, nobody, you know, says anything directly to him. So it's almost like the Lisa Whelchel thing where he just kind of says what he's doing now instead of, like, what he was doing, you know,
right
10 years ago, or really less at that point. It hadn't even been that
probably
long.
like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
It was like probably like right after he had retired.
Yeah, which is pretty crazy. Then also, though, on that same note, speaking of, and Dawson trolling him, that's definitely the wrong game move, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. Like
Yeah.
because it doesn't give her any power over him. If she confronts him and is like, "Hey, if you vote me out, I'm going to tell everyone that you're a baseball player," then maybe he doesn't vote her out.
Right. Or like, hey, I know that like we should work together and I can help keep your secret. But like what she does instead by like trolling him, like I feel like that's only good if you definitely know you're going home because at least you're having some fun there.
Right, exactly. But again, like why not?
Genuinely blindsided. And so I feel like she thought it was like a good thing. She's like, oh, it's like a mouse who doesn't even know it's in my trap. It's like, no, you trolling him made him realize that you knew that he was a baseball player, which made him think, well, I better get rid of her before she tells anyone.
Right, exactly. And you didn't, like if you, maybe if you threaten him with like revealing it, if, like if he votes her out, then maybe he votes Katie first.
Yeah, because there were people making, like, Penner was arguing to vote Katie. Like, there was other people were arguing to vote Katie. That was definitely in the cards. That was an option.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and I think from like the little bit we got of the two of them, I think Katie was probably the more strategic player of the two. Mm-hmm. I feel like Dawson wasn't really kind of checked into that part of the game. Whereas I feel like Katie was kind of like observing dynamics and like what was happening.
Yeah, Katie, as much as she was sort of a non-entity in this season and, apparently did horrendously at least one challenge, like I feel like she actually could have had a little potential had the, say Dana not got sick or whatever, things had just shook out a different way.
Yeah, I kind of feel like her and Dana were probably like the power couple of those girls.
Mm-hmm.
Because Dana,
she even says, I think when Dana goes home, she's like, "Oh, my best girl went."
Yeah, no, I think that's it, and I think they just kind of pulled in Dawson as a third because the three guys were so obviously aligned. So yeah. But yeah, so is this time for the Carter moment of the week?
I think it might be. All right, Matt, what is your Carter moment of the week?
Well, this time I had an easier choice because this is probably my second favorite Carter moment of the season, which is so Carter and Jeff had been discussing who they're going to vote out. Are they going to vote out Katie or are they going to vote out Penner? And, they're still discussing this. They haven't made up their mind. But Carter knows one thing, which is that if Penner comes up and asks him who you're going to vote out, you have to put forward a name that, like two names that is not him, Katie or Denise. So Penner comes up and he's like, hey, you're discussing who to vote out? And Carter's like, yeah. And he's like, well, is it who we're thinking? And Carter's like, yeah, it's Katie or Penner. I mean, Denise. And I just love it so much because it's just, he's like, yeah, Penner, we're thinking about voting you out.
Yeah. And what's funny is, as much as that actually was like totally a slip up because they were considering Penner, and like Penner just kind of goes with it, it actually like does not seem that out of the question. Like Penner, like you're thinking, like I could see someone in like normal life just kind of slip and you say that name, like what I mean, Mark?
Right. I do indeed know what you mean. I don't know if you're trying to. I mean, that's my name. Are you trying to illustrate something?
No, just wanted to be polite.
Okay. But what was your favorite? What was your Carter moment of the week?
All right. Well, I had a feeling you were going to pick that one, so I really had my eye out for some. And this is just a little nugget. I'm not sure everyone would have noticed, but I thought it was quite delightful. And I can't remember exactly when it happened. I think it's after the whole challenge negotiation fiasco or whatever that Carter's so bent out of shape about. But, and there's several good moments there, but there's one part where he has a confessional. Believe it or not, Carter has a confessional.
It's true.
And, he talks about what the Yellow Tribe is doing. And that just I think shows, what a great confessionalist Carter is. Like, just throwing that shade at the other tribe. He's not going to remember their names.
Yeah, it's not like he's been out there 14 days and he should know the name of the tribe by now.
Exactly. Yellow, whatever. I don't care about them. I don't care about me. I'm Carter.
That's right. Good old arrogant, egotistical Carter.
Exactly. But I just love it because it's something like the fans do, will sort of be like, like in the beginning, like, don't worry about the name. But yeah, they're out there for it's been days. They're not really having to learn anything else.
Yeah.
Focus. They see the flag more often.
And on the show, and you don't really notice it most of the time, but you're right. Like on the show, contestants usually remember the names of the tribes, or at least in their confessionals they do. Probably because they get prompted to use those names in the confessionals. I'm just saying. But Carter's like, no, so the yellow tribe.
Yeah. And I thought that was fun.
No, it is. It's a good one.
All right, well, I think that just about does it. And look at that. We managed to be under an hour yet again.
High five to us.
I don't think we swore. Well, wait. No, you did say shitty at one point.
No, I also said fuck at some point. I swore
you're right. That's true. Well, I don't think I did until just that.
You see, I went out of my way to give the people what they want, which is hardcore swearing.
I was just talking naturally. I guess I'm losing my touch. I don't know what's happened.
I'm very disappointed.
I'm sorry. I'll try harder next time.
Please do.
Okay. All right. Well, let's be back next week. Still same time, same place. We'll remind you once the schedule gets a little fuzzy, but we'll be here next week and hopefully with more swearing on my part.
That's right. We'll be covering episodes 7 through 9 next week.
Yes, 7 through 9. We are at the merge.
Dum bum bum.
Yeah. All right. Bye.
Don't you want to tell where they can find us and everything?
You're right. I do want to tell them where to find us. Thanks, Mark.
You're welcome.
All right. So I'm Purple Rock Emma on Twitter. The show is Purple Rock Pod. The website is Purple Rock Podcast.
I am Purple Rock Mark.
See, I was going to do a whole thing where it's like, weirdly, Mark is at Purple Rock Matt, and it was going to be great, and you stepped all over
it. Yeah, but I just jumped in there.
Yeah, you ruined that.
I did.
So,
you can.
There you go.
Yeah. You. Where can they find us?
We said that. We just said that.
No, I mean whatever your podcast finder thing is. This will be up there tomorrow.
iTunes. Yeah, you probably subscribe already.
Right.
iTunes, I think Stitcher is one, right?
Yeah. I guess. I don't know. But the podcast,
if you don't subscribe, you should subscribe.
Yeah, please do that. And then tell Andy and John you did it because you love me and Emma so much.
And no one else.
No one else.
Nothing else about the show.
And the audio should be up tomorrow.
Yeah. As this is live, if you're watching this later, the audio is maybe already up. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe. Should we hit the theme music?
Sure.
Thank you for being a friend. Travel